I'm back at the airport and ready to fly. This time I'm flying from Melbourne with China Eastern on one of their brand new 787-9s. It's in business class, so I'm looking forward to it. The other reason I'm looking forward to it is that this is my first ever experience with one of the Chinese mainland carriers. I've never flown them before, and I believe that China Eastern has a reputation for being the best of those Chinese carriers. So we'll see how they compare to, say, Singapore Airlines, Cathay, and some of the Gulf carriers that are setting the standards at the moment. Join me, we'll do it together. China Eastern has a partnership with Qantas, so uses their lounges in Melbourne. For me, as a Qantas Platinum frequent flyer, this meant I went straight into the first class lounge. It's one of my favourite lounges because it offers full a la carte dining with a view. As I was enjoying my breakfast, I got to see QF93 push back and start its journey to LA. I also got to see my ride come in. It's here that I discovered that today's flight would be on a Shanghai Airlines aircraft rather than China Eastern. Shanghai Airlines is a wholly owned subsidiary of China Eastern, so in essence it's the same thing. It's time to fly. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks. Let's go to Shanghai. Let's do it. Hello. How are you? Thank you. I was supposed to be sitting in seat 11A, which is one of the aisle-style window seats. However, I was in luck. The passenger sitting in seat 10A asked to swap so he could be closer to his wife. I happily agreed, as 10A was one of the more private window seats. Cheers, here's to a great flight. Is also a good time to remind you to consider subscribing to my channel. It's free and provides hours of fun for the whole family. One thing I did notice as we took off is that this aircraft had what looked like the same Chinese character tattoos that you see on a lot of hipsters in Melbourne cafes. I wonder if these hipsters realise that they are actually promoting Shanghai Airlines. The Shanghai Airlines China Eastern business class cabin is laid out in a 1-2-1 configuration. The best seats for couples are those in the middle, although you can close the privacy screen to discourage talkative partners. To maximise space, the seats are staggered, meaning that some of those on the aisle are closer to the window and some are closer to the aisle. The window seats have more privacy and it's easier to look out the window, however access is not as easy and they don't have quite as much storage space. The aisle seats are easier to get in and out of, but are not quite as private. They also have an extra spot for your shoes. The seats themselves are really good. China Eastern has gone for the mini suite or pod style design, which maximises privacy. Each pod comes with all the bells and whistles, including various individually controlled lights, easily accessible power and USB sockets, and storage spaces to put your various bits and pieces in. The seats have two sets of controls, one on top of the side panel next to the entertainment remote, and the other on the side, which allows for easy access when the seat is in bed mode. The seat controls worked well, however for some reason it appears that you can't just lift the footrest, this only deploys in bed mode. The seat itself is comfortable, but a touch narrow for my liking. Jacket wearers are catered for with a special hook, and the tray table is simple to deploy and provides a good steady work surface. The design of these seats means that business travellers needing to get some work done have plenty of space to spread out their papers. These seats also feature a door which can be closed for privacy, that is, if it was operational. On this flight, they were locked in the open position, so couldn't be closed. I think this may be an airline policy for daytime flights, because my connecting flight on the A350 to Amsterdam was an overnight flight, and on that flight we could close the doors. The menus are shown in full at the end of the video. All good flights start with a glass of champagne on boarding and a gin and tonic after takeoff. This flight was no exception. Sadly, there were no warm nuts. Then, just as we were approaching Udnadata, lunch was served. I started with a delicious bowl of cream of tomato and basil soup. This was followed by an equally good antipasta. Then, just to show that I'm not completely anti-pasta, for main course I had seafood pasta. Meanwhile, the big hairdryer hanging off the wing was still purring away nicely as the landscape started to turn red as we headed out into the outback. Next, I said yes to everything except cake, and all this arrived. I'm ashamed to say that I ate it all. One thing that I can say about China Eastern is that their meal servings are very generous. You certainly won't go hungry. After lunch, I basically spent the next 2 hours staring out the windows as we crossed the Australian continent from south to north. The ever-changing expanse of the outback is stunning, and the oversized windows on the 787 provided the perfect view. Eventually, we crossed the coast right over Darwin, and by now it was time for me to take a nap. Sadly, China Eastern doesn't do in-flight PJs, however they do provide slippers and a well-stocked amenities kit. And as expected, your business class seat converts into a lay-flat bed. Whilst the bed was a bit narrow, it was comfortable enough and I had a good sleep. When I awoke, I had a quick look at the entertainment system. It was easy enough to use, however the choices were very limited. Interestingly, in China, comedy appears to translate to baby animals. The route map was good though, allowing you to change the views and zoom in and out. This aircraft was also Wi-Fi enabled, but the Chinese social media restrictions apply. When I got this message, I decided against connecting. Instead, I spent the next couple of hours getting some work done. These seats are perfect for business travellers in that respect, with lots of space to spread out. This is also a good time to tell you about Dashlane, who are sponsoring this video. Dashlane is a password manager and digital identity app that works across all platforms. I've been using it for over 6 months now and it's made my work life so much easier and more secure. Rather than remembering dozens of passwords and which email addresses they are linked to, now I only need to remember one. Their autofill feature saves heaps of time, and the one-step checkout process means I no longer have to type out my credit card details when shopping online. It's brilliant. Their VPN connection is great for travelling when I'm using public Wi-Fi networks, and it's just got even better because now you can choose your VPN server location from 23 different countries, so you can access content globally that would otherwise be blocked. Dashlane are giving my viewers 2 months free when they sign up for a 12-month subscription. To get started, simply click on the link below and use the coupon code Dennis. About 2 hours out of Shanghai, it was time for another feed. This one was listed on the menu as a light meal. First up was fruit and a prawn salad, which was followed by a main course of barramundi in black bean sauce, which was very tasty. In a futile attempt to walk off all this food, I wandered to the back of the plane to check out economy. This was laid out in a 333 configuration with 9 seats across. China Eastern also offers a small premium economy cabin, which is laid out in a 242 configuration with 8 seats across. We started our descent into Shanghai just as the sun was setting, which meant more beautiful views. One thing I did notice though was how few city lights there were. Normally big cities are lit up like a Christmas tree, and Shanghai is one of the world's biggest cities, so I was expecting to see lots of lights. It gave an eerie feeling flying in, but I suppose it's good for the environment. Overall, this was a very enjoyable flight. Good seats, good food, and a good crew. Share, thank you. Very nice flight, thank you. Welcome to Shanghai. Bye-bye. That was a really nice flight, my first ever Chinese experience, and I liked it. The hard product in particular was really good. I do like those private sort of cabin seats. So based on that, I reckon I'd give China Eastern another go. In fact, I'm going to do that in a few hours' time, flying from here through to Amsterdam. That'll be on a different review. So keep an eye out for that one. That's on the A350, so looking forward to it. In the meantime, look, thank you for watching. Really appreciate the support. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and please check out my channel. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. It means the world to me. I'm getting closer and closer to that magical 100,000. So I reckon another 3 years that we'll get there. In the meantime, as always, happy travels.